Thank you for everyone who joined the event here, and thanks for everyone who is watching online. I am not a journalist, as it was mentioned before, and I am a feminist and an anti-war activist. And before the war, I was involved in feminist activism for a lot of years, and right now I am also in exile here. I had to leave my hometown a year ago after I had a series of arrests and house search. So today I will tell about the Feminist Anti-war Resistance movement, which was created the second day after the full-scale invasion in Ukraine. And our goal was to unite different feminist groups and different activists from different regions of Russia to, build a network of people who are ready to confront this war and to do something. So I will show a small presentation where I won't focus on how we organize, I won't focus on what we do on the ground, how we help activists, what our activists in Russia do, what our activists abroad do, how we help refugees, and many directions of our work. Today, I will only focus on how we work with media and how we build our networks and how we reach different audience using different media tools. So first, when we began our movement, we started with basic social media accounts like Instagram and Telegram and Twitter and Facebook. Right now we have a quite large amount of subscribers on Telegram. I can see how much is there, but it's like around many thousands of people. And I think it's one of the most popular activist anti-war accounts on Telegram, which was built on a grassroots level. And we started doing it as an independent media run by activists, not journalists. So we were covering not only news, but we were asking ordinary people to send their stories, their experiences about the war. We had series of publications about the stories of Ukrainian women who were describing how they survived shields and how they're taking care of their families. At the same time, we had anonymous stories of Russian activists who were explaining how they're going through all the repressions in Russia. So for us, it was really important to platform the voices of the people who don't have such big media capital, but their stories are still important. Here's a screenshot of our Telegram channel, which now works as a ongoing full-scale media. We have a team of activists who are monitoring news, who are writing articles, who are doing interviews, and who are making collaborations with independent media. I will take this back. So it's important for us to collaborate with independent media, also with regional media, because we are very aware of the hierarchy which is going on in media. Some of the media are more well known and some regional media doesn't have a lot of audience. So we are interested in bringing more attention to the regional journalists and regional media in Russia. And we were, after several months since the full-scale invasion has started, we realized that we have a central audience, which are predominantly young women from, 20 till 40. And these are mostly women who already have, political awareness, and they are mostly anti-war, and they are active. So we decided, how can we use our platforms to reach different other audiences? And we decided that we will just try to do everything that we can. And we thought that maybe we can reach more conservative audience through more, entertainment content, through memes, through, jokes, through different kind of internet content. And we decided to use a platform, WhatsApp, which is mostly used in Russia by, sometimes more conservative audience, sometimes more older users who doesn't use Facebook and Instagram that much. And in Russian WhatsApp, there is a trend where people greet each other on major holidays with some kind of specific greeting cards. And we decided to design very similar specific design of this WhatsApp greeting cards to infiltrate these cards with anti-war messages. And on the first glance, when you look at these cards, you just see the ordinary design that your grandmother can send you on WhatsApp, or your aunt or something, or someone to greet you on, I don't know, the 8th of March or Christmas or Easter. But when you read, you can see anti-war messages there. And we thought it would be a great format to create a viral content which can break out of this activist bubble, of this liberal bubble, and it actually did. We made a series of viral postcards on Easter. Some of them were with very cheesy jokes, some of them were just like strong anti-war content, and they went viral, and our followers were describing how their grandmothers and their relatives were sending them this content. So it went so viral, so it finally reached the audience that we wanted to reach. We also tried to reach more, toxic masculine audience in platforms such as ВКонтакте, Одноклассники, and others. We tried to infiltrate so-called, male public pages with these memes, which are, copying the type of memes that you regularly see in such male, brutal social media. But we also were infiltrating them with anti-war content and jokes, and we thought that it will be another way to reach somebody we won't ever reach as a feminist anti-war resistance, because, in such places people hate everything with the word feminism and maybe women in general. But that was only, the meme, GIF, jokes level. The other format that we created was an anti-war DIY newspaper, which is called Женская правда, or Women's Truth. We now have a small editorial office, online office, where a team of activists/journalists create a new issue once in 2 weeks. And we share the PDF file, so any person can print it at home and spread it in the public buildings secretly. We have also, instructions of how to do it safely and anonymously. So people spread it on the student campuses, in the libraries, anywhere they can reach, anywhere it can be spread, it's safe. And the newspaper is basically stories with anti-war content as well, but we were thinking how to spread it safely. So we decided to cover it and to design it as an ordinary, regular newspaper that you can find, in your neighborhood and take it for free. So it has a really specific design as well, and it has a really specific type of tags and type of headlines. So if you're just going through it briefly, if you're just putting your glance on it, you will think, oh, it's just like a regular free newspaper for housewives or something, or just for, I don't know, older people, or just like people from the neighborhood. But when you start reading it, you realize that it's all anti-war content. It's stories about political prisoners in Russia. It is stories about how war affects our regular life, economy, our relatives, what are the risks of people who are getting mobilized, what are the risks of women in Russia. Also, we are infiltrating it with some, jokes and crosswords, also anti-war themed. And sometimes you can see, stories about people who are, doing activism on a really grassroots level. So, really people of the older age, people who are on pension, who are going to the street protests and stuff. So we want people to see how people like them are being active. It's also important for us as a movement to, put a lot of focus that in Russia there are not only Russian people living. There are a lot of nationalities and ethnicities living in Russia, and right now we are having a huge rise of the colonial movement in Russia, but the voices of Russian citizens of different ethnicities are often not being heard that much. So, for example, we decided to make one special issue of our newspaper with Tuvinian activists, female activists, and it went out on Tuvinian language, and it was spread among the community. As well, we're doing collaborations with independent media such as Verstka, Holod, or Beda. And when we're doing this collaboration, we are also trying to put a spotlight on the voices that are interesting for us and those voices who, in our opinion, don't get that much focus. So, for example, we were creating a material about how women who are working in the structural institutions, pro-governmental institutions, are trying to sabotage them by doing their work. It's a really interesting topic, and we were covering it, and we were, collecting stories through our Telegram bot, trying to find these women, and they were trusting our organization, our movement, and they were able to share stories with us because they trusted us as activists. At the same time, we were doing different stories about how women in other countries are using, what strategies do they use to confront the wars, to fight militarism, and to protect themselves. So we were doing interviews with activists and journalists from Rojava, so our audience could see how other people in the different military situation try to protest. And last two slides, because my time is already passed. So we also are doing some original materials, also to put a spotlight on important voices. For example, on Sigma platform, we had several important articles and several important translations. For example, we were making an interview with Russian partisan women who are breaking the railways to stop military machines from going to the war zone. And most of the media were covering partisans in general, but we were the first ones to speak to the women from the partisan movement, because due to the misogyny and sexism, most of the people think that only male partisans are doing this dangerous work, which is not true. So we uncovered that. And for example, we did an interview with Boris Nemtsov's daughter, who is an important activist and human rights defender as well. And so we do many of these stories as well. Yeah, I think that's all that I had to say, but if you want to learn more about Feminist Anti-war Resistance, you can follow our social media and you can ask me later, and you can collaborate with us, because we are really eager to find new allies and colleagues all over the world. Thank you.